What's up, guys? Welcome back to Golf Simulator videos. Wow, do we have an exciting one for you today. I'm sitting here with an all-new product from Trackman. This is the Trackman IO. IO stands for Indoor Optimized. So what are we going to do today? We're going to do all kinds of stuff. First, we're going to take a look at the unit, do a quick unboxing. I have something really special for you guys, though. We're actually going to sit down with Jakob, the head of Indoor from Trackman. So I was lucky enough to get access to this unit as a user just a few days before the launch to be able to get it set up, essentially show you this first look video at launch. But we sat down with Jakob for this interview and went over just a couple great questions, some really good conversation that I think you guys are going to enjoy. So I'm going to tease you with a few things as we do an unboxing here. Make sure you stay tuned for that interview, though. It was really enjoyable sitting down and talking to Jakob. And then after the interview, well, we're going to put this thing in action and show you what it's all about. So maybe a little more of a longer video than we normally do, but stay tuned for the whole thing because I promise you, you're going to really enjoy this. So let's just start out right out of the gate by unboxing the Trackman IO. So Indoor Optimized. So Trackman is known for their radar capabilities, and essentially the Trackman 4, which I've been a user of for some time now, has a camera inside, and they've now been utilizing that camera for their OERT technology. That's optically enhanced radar tracking, where they use both the camera and the radar to track the ball. All right, so what's different from the Trackman IO? Well, this thing has a huge camera. All right, so does it have radar as well? Yes, it does. But it has infrared for this all-new camera, and it's giving it just unbelievable, features and capabilities from what you've normally seen in their indoor version. All right, so Trackman 4, as you know, it's been working great for me, but it has some constraints. It needs certain distances, and it also needs a lot of light for that camera to be able to catch impact. That's how they're using their calculation to come up with spin access. Well, this is an all-new way of doing spin access for Trackman Indoor. They're actually measuring spin access with the camera. All right, so no marked balls, no RCT balls, and also no club stickers for what sounds like soon to be coming club data that you're going to be getting. You'll hear more about that in the interview. But let's just take a quick look at the unit and what comes inside. All right, so I'm going to bring this up to the camera so you can see that massive camera on the front of this unit. There's actually infrared behind here, radar inside of the unit as well. We'll move along to the back and just talk about the connectivity. So it comes with a mount. It's a super easy ceiling mount that you actually can just, hook in and snap in, and then to take it out, there's a button on each side. So really easy to take in and out. So I was able to do that real simple. And this is going to focus more on just a simple user installation. You mount this up there either with the included mount, or you can actually use a VESA mount as well with some included screws I'll show you here in a second. And then it connects with Ethernet. All right, so you just bring Ethernet right down to your computer. Like most of these launch monitors are doing now, that just transfers the data over. And let's just go ahead and set this off to the side now that we've shown the actual unit. And let's just go over what comes inside the box. So there's some unique things that I want to talk about, and I'll show you guys. So there's actually a flashlight included, which you'd think, well, why is there a flashlight included? Is that so you can see what you're doing? Well, actually, no, it's not. So as I open up the rest of this, you're going to see that they include a little marker, kind of like a ball marker with a T. This is actually your included instructions, but I'll show you they also have a QR code you can scan and just open up a video instructions and documentation as well. But let's talk more about this flashlight. Well, I'll tell you what they're trying to do. So here's those VESA bolts that I was telling you about if you're going that route. Here is the manual with QR code, so you can download things really simple. And then let's check this out. So what is this? This is a calibration board. So you guys have probably seen this and maybe in other videos of mine where we're doing calibration with the camera. And what they've done here is they've allowed you to do a really simple installation. Now, don't get me wrong, you could use laser alignment, anything you want to do, but you basically take this T marker, put it down on the ground where you would normally hit from, place this inside, all right? That way your calibration board can basically go right over top, and then this flashlight actually goes inside of here, all right, and points up at the ceiling to allow you to come to a center point with the circle that it's providing. I'll actually put it out there on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. And it's a really simple way to find your mounting position for this unit. Like I said, there'll be options you could do as well, and I'll actually show you, calibration stuff. I'll probably go over maybe a full installation video for you guys, just showing you calibration, showing you all the different in-depth, install features of the Trackman. But I don't want to stay long-winded here because I know you guys are excited to hear what Jakob has to say, but also to get this unit in action. So let's go ahead and check out this interview with Jakob Munk, head of indoor at Trackman. Hey guys, welcome back. I think I have a really, really exciting little moment for you guys that we put together. I'm here today with Jakob from Trackman. I appreciate you making the trip here and spending the time with us to learn about something all new coming from Trackman.
My pleasure.
Can you tell us just your role at Trackman, I guess, first, just so the viewers know?
Yes, I am the head of product for indoor golf in Trackman, so my responsibility and role in the company is to develop the indoor golf solution in total. So that is the software, virtual golf software, TPS software, the portal for our B2B customers, the part of the consumer app, the Trackman Golf app that pertains the indoor golf users, and the build out and everything that goes into an indoor environment. So that's kind of the overall role that I have, and it's an exciting place to be.
Everything indoor, we look to you, huh?
Yeah.
All right,
also
very cool.
Also the blame comes to me.
Yeah. So just real quick to start things off, because we mentioned indoor there. Yeah, I feel like what I've noticed, at least, especially since I kind of started the channel, and then COVID hit, and was almost like a blessing in disguise for golf indoor. Tell me what Trackman's seen as far as growth. Both on the maybe home level and commercial level. What are you guys seeing?
Definitely, we're seeing high growth rates. Also coming from indoor golf, that's no secret at all. I think we are all kind of looking towards indoor golf in the industry because it's such a fast-growing part of the market. We still have a significant amount of business on green grass. Our heritage is on green grass as well, so that's still an important part of our focus. But definitely the highest growth rates are coming from indoor golf. We love to see the game grow as it does, and of course many bad things about the pandemic, but some of the good things definitely comes into our industry here, and we're trying to make the best of it for sure.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was one of those things where, just like you said, it might be a lot of bad things, but almost like an opportunity opened up a lot of eyes.
Yeah.
Not only in the home, but just a lot of the commercial spaces I see opening up everywhere. I mean,
yeah.
It's just
really
amazing.
Moving fast.
But on to today's subject. I mean, this is really exciting. So you're introducing an all-new indoor optimized Trackman unit. Features a very large camera, and then I notice it has a small web camera, which is interesting. Can you just kind of tell me what the role of each of those cameras are and what they're providing? And I believe the unit also has radar. So if you can just kind of describe what the role is of all of those, and how you guys are using it to basically measure your data.
Yeah. It almost feels a little strange being able to talk openly about it, having worked on this for some time now, but glad to get the opportunity. So we're still focusing on OERT, we call it, optically enhanced radar tracking. So we are combining both vision tracking and radar tracking in this new ceiling-mounted unit that we are introducing. So you are right in saying there's two cameras in there. One is used for auto alignment, so that's a little webcam that looks towards the screen if you have a screen in your home setup. And then the other camera is what it's all about, and that's the real powerful vision tracking that's coming from that camera. And then we have radar as well to assist us on some of the elements where that is better. So it's combining both best of both worlds, where we know that radar is good at measuring depth and ball flight and ball speeds and all that stuff. So we're utilizing where the radar is best at the 40,000 frames per second resolution we basically get from the radar. And then we use the vision where that is best. So they go hand in hand, just as the TM4.
So I'm sure everybody's asking the question then. So you have this camera, unbelievable view of the golf ball. Can they use no markings, no RCT ball now? Are they free to ball of choice?
Yes, so there's a long list of kind of starting points for the whole project. One of them was we need to be completely markerless. It needs to be something where you can just drop a ball and hit it without any markers anywhere, neither the club nor the ball. So you don't need an RCT ball. You don't need any stickers on any clubs. It's just throw the ball and hit it. That's been important for us to achieve that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want to kind of move on to sizing. So we're talking a unit that's made for indoor, ceiling mounted, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So sizing. I think it's important for everyone because everyone's working with different spaces. So it's ceiling mounted. What are going to be the recommended sizes, at least right now, that you guys know will fit, operate properly, that someone can be confident with, that they can install the unit and it's going to operate to its best?
So the main limitation, if you see it in such a way, is the ceiling height. There's a certain limitation to where we can mount the unit. But aside from that, there's basically no limitations besides your own swing. Swing comfort is what defines your space. So you can be standing really close to the screen. You can be standing really close to your back wall.
As long as you're safe.
As long as you're safe, of course. So that's basically up to your swing comfort, and whether you are single dexterity or dual dexterity in your setup, that defines your width, obviously. But really the only constraint is on the mounting height.
Okay. All right. And what is that range on the ceiling?
So minimum is 9.4.
Okay.
Maximum is 10. So
Okay.
if you have ceilings higher, obviously you use a drop pole. So there's a VESA mount on the back of the unit that interacts with just 4 bolts, and everything is nice and easy to install if you're using a drop pole. But if you have a ceiling height that's in that span between 9.4 and 10, you can just mount it directly on the ceiling surface.
Fantastic. And
Yeah.
I think that's a good range. I think that's where you find most people are, feeling comfortable inside a space when they're working with a 10-foot ceiling. I mean, that's like ideal in my opinion. All right. So we're talking about how easy it is to mount this and everything. So is the goal here for this to be more of the, I'm the DIY guy, I'm looking for my launch monitor at this point, so I'm seeing if it fits in my space. Can I buy this myself, install it myself? Is it kind of purposeful in that way?
It is, and back to that starting kind of recipe for what we wanted to achieve with I/O has definitely been to make a true DIY project here, because we're trying to, of course, make we're inviting more people to our ecosystem by opening up. When we come to the price point the price point questions that you probably have lined up at some point.
I'm getting to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But DIY is definitely important to us. So it's been designed in such a way where basically anybody who can, I normally say, if you can assemble an piece of IKEA furniture, you can also install this in your home in your home setup.
The IKEA probably is harder, don't you think?
In some ways, it might be. Depends on what kind of furniture you're.
That's great. I want to jump back for 1 minute because I think this is really important, and I'm sure everyone's going to be asking. We're talking about all the data points, that the camera's, reading and the radar's reading. What are the data points that this unit's providing?
So we provide, we call it the Trackman accuracy level ball data. So all the ball data that you get on a TM4, you also get on this new unit, and at the same quality level. It's important for us to remain true to our promise to the market that we don't show any bad data anywhere. We would rather not show data tiles if we're not confident with the accuracy level. So that's been our mantra for many years, and we are sticking to that. So that does mean that some of the data points that we do have available, club data points that we do have available on TM4 units, we won't have available, at least not at launch, for Trackman I/O. It's always been our position to introduce new hardware and keep improving on that, on what that hardware can do for the end customer, and we intend to do the same with I/O. So not having certain data points available at launch doesn't mean that we won't ever introduce them.
Okay,
So,
I like that, and I've noticed that from you guys over the years. I mean, I like seeing that. I like seeing that you have this great hardware. You're confident with this, but the engineering team's probably over here saying, "What can we do more?" And it's amazing what you guys have done with TM4 over the years, which I guess gets me to that next question. All right, so who is the target market for I/O? Who is the target market once this product's out there for TM4? I mean, they're obviously going to be separated in different ways. If you had somebody, say, hey, I like the Trackman software, what unit should I buy? How do you answer that question to make sure they're guided in the right way?
Well, it's a great starting point for a conversation, because it really is more and more about the software, getting access to the software, all the courses we have, all the games that we've added over the years, the access to tournaments and all that stuff. That's really what it's about for a lot of new people that are in our community. Of course, our teaching coaches and club fitters and all that stuff, they're still all about club data and shot analysis and kind of the advanced practice module that we have.
Sure.
But we have a lot of new customers that are more kind of focused on indoor golf experience, and so that's what we're trying to do with IO, which is the name of this new product. Stands for Indoor Optimized, so we're optimizing the indoor golf experience. And there's a lot of advantages by putting it in the seating and combining the strong camera and the radar unit to offer that opportunity. So to answer your question in shorter terms, we're opening up for the home simulator guys and girls who want a indoor optimized solution and don't necessarily care so much about being able to carry the unit outdoors, which is one of the strong points about TM4, for example. And don't necessarily need the big advanced practice module that like a club fitter does, but can do with kind of simpler and easier to access pieces of software. Well,
and it's funny you mention that because it's a question that I get, and maybe it's just a misunderstanding that a lot of people have when they're first reaching out. They don't know anything about golf simulators. All the golf simulator software out there needs is those key ball data elements to generate the ball flight. They don't need any club data. They don't need some of the ball data that may be getting extra added on. It's those key pieces of data that generate ball flight. So that makes total sense. And I guess you mentioned home, but really this sounds to me like I talk to a lot of commercial guys, so this could fit into that wheelhouse very easily for them as well.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's been tailored for indoor use in any sort of setting, so it's also super relevant for commercial customers as well. We have a commercial license product that is tailored to that specific usage with access to the entire software suite. But we also have kind of a more limited version at a lower price point to reach those private amateurs that maybe are looking for a lower priced Trackman software experience.
Gotcha. Yeah. And next on my list here, as you knew I was going to ask this question, I'm sure everybody wants to hear this. All right, so what is going to be the price point for Trackman IO? Explain the levels you're talking about. I guess I didn't know if there were going to be levels or not. I was just assuming what's the price. So I think it's kind of cool that you're giving different opportunities to people. Explain those, that way everybody understands how that's going to work.
Okay, so to compare it to Trackman 4, for example, we have the same software suite available as Trackman 4. If you see it in Trackman 4, you can get it in Trackman IO as well, with a few limitations to that. I can get back to that. So there's a commercial license where you get access to our portal, our B2B portal as well. With Trackman IO, you can buy that. It's the same price as the Trackman 4, $21,495 is still the price for the commercial, complete access to everything.
Okay.
Now, as a private homeowner, you can also access that complete suite as well at the same price point, $21,495. But we've also made a new price point at $13,995, which is the new price point, with a lesser amount of courses, fewer games. You don't get access to the advanced practice module as you would in the complete license.
Okay.
Because our theory is that we want to reach a lot of customers who don't necessarily care about this advanced practice module, like I said before. Just simple home practice in the garage or in the basement or wherever you have space to put in a sim. And just enough to practice your game whenever you have time to do it, and play a few rounds of golf with your family or your friends once in a while, participate in tournaments and just enjoy indoor golf, which is what it's all about.
Yep, and when you say that, I mean, they're still going to have a range. They can still practice on a range and stuff like that. It's just that, like that TPS, like when I think advanced, I think TPS cameras, all that stuff that fitters and stuff are using.
Yeah, so that was back in the day tailored to the fitters and the teaching studios and all that stuff, and it's way too complicated for a lot of us. Even myself, I tend not to go too much into shot analysis to be honest, because
honestly.
I'm just that type of golfer who enjoys to stand more on the target practice range or in this new range that we can probably show your viewers as well. It's just simpler ways to do self practice. Now, if you're in a teaching setup where you have a coach next to you, he definitely would probably want the full suite of data points and video connection tools and all that stuff, drawing tools and biomechanics when we come up with that and all that stuff.
Sure.
That's necessary tools for a professional, but for the private amateur in his or her own settings, it's maybe a little bit too much for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So why not strip that away and make a bundle of software that is more accessible for more people?
Okay, let me ask one little more question on that, just because. So that, I mean, I love the lower price point. I think that's going to excite a lot of people, because I talked to a lot of people and they liked the software, and then obviously the affordability of the unit was the big thing. But also, you buy the unit $13,995. Is there a software subscription, or is there like a base software included? How's that work?
There's a software subscription as well. So, and that is at $700. So currently we're at $1,000 per year. So there's a lower software subscription for that bundle. And then if you extend the bundle to become the complete, there's another $400 on top. So depends on the usage and the amount of software that you want your access to.
Okay, very cool. And I can refer everyone to a link in the description, once this thing's launched. That way you can actually get, all the details on pricing and everything. But I appreciate you sharing that. That's awesome. Back to virtual golf just for a minute. I've always appreciated the software. I think it's very well refined. I point out to people that I think you guys really do take a lot of time. I know you guys go to courses and stuff, because I can look at the buildings and the houses, and they're rendered to like what they look like. I mean, it's really cool attention to detail. But in saying that, not to critique, but it's been the same for a while. I mean, you guys have added some features, changed the UI, like really kind of refined it, and added a ton of courses. I mean, more than I could probably ever play. Are there more things coming to virtual golf? I mean, are we going to see enhancements? Like, what's the future?
I think it's safe to say that we always look at everything across the entire indoor golf software suite, and we challenge ourselves and see how we can improve things. And also graphics. I'm a big graphics guy myself. It's all about the graphics. So yes, we are looking at some elements that will be probably introduced within the next, I'm going to say 12 to 18 months or so, where we will see some interesting stuff coming into our software.
All right. And then, going back to that, I talk to people all the time about subscription and everything. And, there's people that love subscription, people that maybe hate it, but I see the vision on subscription. I mean, it's like when I think it was Adobe came out with subscription, I was the person that always had the license forever and used the old one, and then finally subscribed. And it's like then you realize that it's like you're always on the latest, you're always getting the new stuff. And so I can see where you guys are going with that. I mean, it kind of is the future of software. All right, so to wrap things up, don't want to get too long-winded, but I thought this was pretty cool. You guys announced a partnership with the DP World Tour for indoor simulator golf competition and everything, and then even I think an amateur indoor tour. So just touch on that a little bit, because I think that's really exciting stuff.
It is. I mean, we're super excited about that partnership. We're super excited about Next Golf Tour, which we launched last year. Season 1 was a relative good success. I mean, we were all excited about seeing our software basically also being tested to the extreme. I mean, having professional players playing for big money. I mean, could we do it?
Big money. I mean, what was that purse?
Was it 25 grand for the first prize in each of the rounds, and it's even being upped a little bit more for season 2.
Okay.
So purse is a little bit bigger. The amount of players will be bigger this time. We learned from last year. We've made some incredible software. So there's going to be an app tailored for Next Tour as well. So we're going all in for that. We love the excitement about playing tournaments in indoor golf environments as well.
Sure.
It's a big part of the golf game to compete as well once in a while, especially once you get better and better, you really want to compete and get that excitement. So that's next tour, and that's probably tailored to, it is tailored to the better players. You need to be basically a really good scratch golfer to even compete there.
Let me touch on next real quick. If you guys haven't followed this, I find it quite fascinating because I know a lot of very good golfers, better than me, that's for sure, that don't have the money necessarily to maybe travel to that mini tour, or maybe it's just the accessibility. Like I have a real job, and this kind of opens that door to them because I've talked to them. I've said, listen, you need to look at this. This is you want to play a competition for money, this is an opportunity. They can sneak into a facility, or maybe they have a TrackMan at their house, and now they're playing for 25 grand, where before they weren't playing any tournaments because they couldn't travel around.
Exactly.
I mean, that's pretty cool stuff.
It's life changing for a lot of these people.
Yeah, life changing. For real.
Some of the first winners actually the first round winner, he was supposed to work all winter season. Just to get money to get by and get enough money to get into the outdoor tournaments that he wanted to. Once he saw Next, he quit that job right away, and he played, I think he's mentioned 42 practice rounds before entering the actual counting round, and he ended up winning.
Smart.
That's a pretty smart move.
Get the feel for it. Yeah.
Not everyone has access to that, but he did, and he made the most of it. So,
wow.
and also Sophia, which was one of the other winners that we had. It was also a life-changing move for her. And that's really what excites us. We can change probably a career for some of these people. We like to think that we can kickstart a career that we maybe never would have seen anyway. So we can't take all the credit. The players still have to show up and hit the good shots and all that stuff. But we're just super happy to provide the software that enables them to do this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's really exciting.
Very cool.
Then of course, tournaments in general is a big thing for us. We invest quite a lot in it, not only for the good players, but for everybody who has access to a TrackMan sim. I mean, playing in tournaments, we have public tournaments that are available globally all the time. Local tournaments are available in commercial facilities everywhere, and people really like to compete there and see their names on leaderboards.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah, competition's great.
It is.
Well, I really appreciate your time, and everyone stay tuned because we're now going to dive in with the Trackman IO. We have it installed here in the GSV studio, and we're going to give you guys a first look. So, Jakob, thank you very much for taking the time.
My pleasure.
And I know last time we talked, it was the PGA show, and hopefully we'll see you again this year.
Guarantee it.
Thanks again.
Thanks again.
What's up, guys? Welcome back inside the GSV studio. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Jakob from Trackman as much as I did. Now it's time to put the Trackman IO through its paces. We're going to do full shots. We're going to do wedge examples. I'm going to do some chipping and putting, try to pack all that in here for you guys. With new hardware, actually comes a lot of new software updates with this 9.3 version that I'm going to show you. And I can't pack it all in this video. We'd be here for 2 hours, but they have some cool new stuff like live leaderboard when you're playing in tournaments. You can see where you're ranking and what's moving, what's going on. They have Ghost Play. You can connect with friends through their app and actually play ghost rounds and against like a scratch player. Really cool stuff, and even a new game. But specific to Trackman IO, wait until you see some of these new updates. And I also want to talk about the actual hitting area size in just a second. So let's dive right in. I'm going to go to one of the new areas that I've just kind of gravitated to. I've only had the unit, like I said, a couple days of early access here, and I find myself at this new range all the time. Wait until you see this new feature with Trackman IO. So it says dial in your swing or casually hit a few buckets with easy to consume data right at hand on this all new range. I'm going to go ahead and select that, select my player. While that loads up, let's talk about this hitting area. So it's 16 inches deep, all right? That is a significant, depth, 16 inches, but it's 2 feet wide. That's huge. Why is it huge? Well, especially for people in more narrow rooms. So let's say you're in like only a 14-foot wide room, and I'm sure people are going to push the limits on this. Just proceed with caution. Make sure you have a safe room. But this thing is measuring in a very short distance. So that means you don't need the big lengths anymore or even widths because you could actually offset the unit if you wanted to. But check this out. If I have a center tee, I could move this thing like 11 inches over here and still be in the hitting zone. So if I had that, like I said, only 14-foot wide room and I was worried about clearing driver, I could actually be over there for driver and be fine. So I wanted to point that out. I think that's a huge feature that it has, is that really wide hitting area. But let's go ahead and select a club. Let's select an 8-iron, select our target. We'll go to 155 yards. And you'll see it's cool. It has 2 targets, inside 7 yards for a tour player, and then inside 13 yards for a handicap around 15. So we'll grab an 8-iron, There's a lot going on in this range, guys. I'll go through it all. In the upper right's like a full 3D flight of your ball. And then this is cool because it's more of just that first person view with a tracer. And then I'll show you what's going on in the lower left. But wait until you see me hit the ball. You're going to see a new feature for Trackman IO that is incredible. So we'll just try to hit a normal shot to start things off. All right. Kind of my normal shot. Didn't quite draw it like I normally like to, but just a safe shot down there. And if you notice what's going on in the upper left, well, it's an impact video. And look how clear it is. So this is definitely becoming one of my favorite features of the Trackman IO. Notice the blue line showing like the delivery of the club. I actually came a little bit from the inside, and that's a nemesis of mine. I'm trying to, get the club working more straight or almost outside in, and I can just look up there. I'm not a PGA professional or golf coach, and I can see the club is coming from the inside. I can also see a crystal clear version of the golf ball, which is really nice, and it actually crops it post-impact, because you don't care what the club delivery is post-impact. It's all about pre-impact. So it's really cool how it does that, and obviously it's tracking the ball precisely, measuring the backspin, measuring spin access, those key features that you guys, want, especially in an indoor environment. And then I'll show you shot analysis here in a minute. You think that video is great? It blows it up. It's wild. Now, I don't know if they'll end up having this, possibly be able to expand or throw up on another monitor when you're on this range. Maybe something I'll bring up to them, see if that's a feature they can do. But let's go ahead and try to fix my issue there with kind of pushing that ball off to the right. I would love to hit a little fade if I could. I have a tough time starting it left of the target line, but we'll see if we can get the ball maybe at least curving a little bit right. Oh, if I just held the face off, and of course, what did I do? I hit it towards the heel. I mean, that was way towards the heel. That was in dangerous territory, and I love that it confirms that for me and says, whoa, like you need to get this club moving here, is my goal. And that would obviously allow for, better impact and everything overall. Now I got away with that, but I do want to show you something. You notice that it popped up. If I move this ball over here, it tells me it's outside the hitting area. If you go to approach the ball, it's going to let you know that. Now I want to push this to the limit really quick. What if I put it all the way to the outside? I mean, it's basically on the line of my mat. So I'm almost at, that 12-inch mark off center, pushing the 2-foot wide mark. Let's see if it reads. Let's do a little chip down there. It reads perfectly. And you can even see the entire image as well. So the offset guys are going to be really happy, I think, knowing that they can push the boundaries, with this. I mean, that's really, really cool. So what do I want to do? I want to try to hit that fade again and not be so towards the heel. Well, for me, doesn't quite get better than that. I got the ball delivered towards the center of the club, lower on the face, generating good spin. You can see that 7,000 rate. I got the ball started on the left, fading to the right. For me, it's ideal. And it also takes a little bit of distance off when I fade the ball like that. So, carry only 152, where if I hit a draw, it tends to carry more. And I want to show you guys something since I've been hiding it. Down in the lower left, you can see that I have an average total, I have the distance for every shot, and whether I hit the target or not, and you can see I hit 3 or 4. Now what I like is that you can change the parameter. I'm more of a carry person because you never know what kind of green you're going to be hitting into outside. It could be soft, it could be a bounce and roll, and so I like to know where I'm landing the ball. So I can change that to carry, and now you can see my average carry is obviously low because of that one shot, but let's just do this. Let's select that shot and delete it. Now, when you select each shot, notice the club path video, the impact video, is actually changing. So you can review these shots as you're playing. Really cool stuff. I'm going to put my video back up there before I forget. All right. And now I think we should jump out. And you know what I'll do? I'm going to hit one sweeping draw for you guys. So let's put the ball here. And let's say you need to get around a tree or something, because I wanted to show full shot shaping for you guys. I'm trying to get this ball working out to the right, back to the left. Gets a little extra distance this way. Look at the club coming in. It was a little towards the toe. I mean, I went a little extreme there. It actually went right back center of target, but not the best impact. You know, you can see the spin, but I mean, once again, hey, I got away with it. I mean, I love looking at that blue line. Look at the delivery, and then the Ally logo. I mean, that's just really cool stuff. So, like I think I mentioned in the past, but the Ally Challenge up in Grand Blanc, I played in the Pro-Am, and you know, it's a really cool event up there. If you haven't checked it out, they raise a ton of money. The PGA champions come in there at Warwick Hills. It's really cool stuff. That's why the Ally logo is on the ball. So, what do we want to do now? Let's go to shot analysis. Let's go to 58-degree wedge, and let's show you guys the video in an all new level. That's kind of how I'll put it. So let's just kind of hit like a 65, 70 yard shot or something down there. So 60, 62 almost. Look at how clear and crisp that is. And I'm going to show you how I kind of work on my game with this as well. So I can come over to the computer and make sure my video is not covering it. It is not, so we're good there. I'm going to hit play and watch the video. I can watch the club come in. It looks like I'm hitting just a little bit of turf before I impact the ball, something to pay attention to. But I'm also looking at the delivery of the club. I don't want the club coming from the inside like you can kind of see in the video. So I'm actually going to get back up there and try to hit this how I want to. Look how clear that image is. Between the Titleist logo, the Ally logo, I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, if you want to have shot verification, I mean, it's there. So, like I mentioned, what I've been working on, now I want to kind of push this club up and exit to the left. See if I can actually execute. A much more crisp shot. Look at the delivery. Much, much better. And this is how I work on my game with this. I mean, in the past couple days that I've been able to use this, I've just been bouncing around to these features, working on little things in my game, and I just love it. So let's do a quick replay of that, and we'll move on. Watch that club delivery. Hit that nice and crisp. Got a 7,500 spin on only a 60-yard shot. I just love that. So this is shot analysis. Obviously, tons of features inside of shot analysis. You know, we can do that in a whole new video. So not going to save any of that. I'm actually going to go out so you guys can see virtual golf. So let's step out to this par 3 first. I love this par 3. I was actually playing it earlier. It's a nice option if you want to do on-course practice, but I really just wanted to be able to show you guys the actual virtual golf with Trackman IO, just like you'd be playing full rounds and everything. So we're going to jump out to this hole that is only, I want to say, like 65 yards. And you'll be able to see this in action. You'll be able to see, you know, ball physics, you know, hitting with the Trackman IO depending on the spin. But see this little par 3, 65 yards. All right. So, perfect opportunity to kind of hit those shots like I was showing you guys. And now you'll be able to see how fast the ball is taking off with Trackman IO, the reaction of the ball physics inside the, you know, Trackman software, which I've always been a fan of. All right, am I still dialed in? Oh, get out of here. Okay, I'll take that. I'm done. I love how, it, you know, when I'm touching the ball outside the hitting area, how wild is this that it actually knows that it's outside the hitting area this far forward? And then if I go how far back, I actually can hit from here, from what it's saying. I mean, that's incredible. The hitting size is just huge. Like, it's more than you need. I mean, it really is. The width is what I think is key for so many people that they do need. All right, so let's hit another one. Still working on that shot, try to get that spin up. See the ball almost cutting just a little bit because I'm getting the, ooh, that was close though. That was really close. I'm getting that club coming from, you know, almost the outside, exiting left, generating a lot of spin. Look at that, almost 8,000. Now, I'm not able to review that path and impact inside of virtual golf. That's something that they don't have, at least yet. A feature that I can't imagine not adding. You know, especially with all the requests that are probably going to come in from it. I'm requesting it, that's for sure, because I just love the impact image so much. I would assume you'll probably be able to even take shot analysis and put it up on a third screen. You know, you could do that currently inside of Trackman software. So, you know, the multi-screen, you know, pop out of the impact is probably going to be something that will be a feature that they come out with. Oh no, I'm losing my touch. You know, and I didn't hit that quite as well that time. You can see, you know, the carry, the spin was good. It just, you know, I think the face was just a little bit open and not closing. How about that? I just know that you have to land it like right. Oh, I mean, that was close. The first one was the best, hands down. All right, so we're gonna hit one more for you guys. Just kind of getting the different feeling of, you know, how fast the ball takes off. We'll do some chipping, we'll do some putting. All right, gave it a little more oomph that time. How's that gonna work out? I think that's the shot. You just gotta get it there. I was getting a little weak on it. You can see I even got my spin up there, so you know it's gonna check on the green. I mean, how fun is that? Just great to go out and do practice like this. I'll tell you where I'd like to do the chipping and putting. I think I'd like to go out to the actual practice facility. See where it says target practice? I mean, this is just an amazing facility. I've shown it in other videos, and this will allow me to demonstrate chipping for you guys, and it will also allow me to demonstrate putting on like a flat surface. So let's go ahead and get this to load up. We'll just go kind of green side and do a couple different chipping demonstrations for you, like if you had to lift a ball up maybe higher, and then you wanted to do kind of like a bump and run. So let's go ahead and just place ball, and we'll put it green side right here. This is a tough chip. You know, I mean, in this case, I'm probably kind of getting it just to kind of launch up and maybe land soft. It's only 11 yards. Let's see if we can pull it off. Of course, you know, I'm losing 80% of my spin. Not much power, it's a decent lie, but 80% of my spin down in the lower left, you can see that. I've shown it in other videos, so you guys can check that out. I won't take the camera down just to show that. Is that gonna be soft enough though? Yeah, a little too much speed. A little too much speed. Notice that launch on that ball? All right, so I gotta get a little better touch on this. There we go. The ball rolls out with less spin, puts me by the cup. Obviously, I'm going to make that, or maybe I'm playing gimmies. All right. I'll try to even lay the face down flat and see how it's going to read that. I haven't even really tested this. Look at that. Just straight up in the air and coming down. So now we'll give it a little more speed, laying it flat. The way that it can crop the ball and measure the ball like that, I just don't think you're going to run into any issues, you know, depending on what your club delivery is. Look at that. Straight up. Go in the hole. Oh, that was a good one there. That might be the play. Normally I wouldn't hit that in real life, but pretty cool to be practicing inside. So let's go ahead and place the ball again. Let's move over here to like the other side of the green and say you want to play a little more of a bump and run. I think this is going to be tough because you're still losing a bunch of spin. It's 23 yards, so I'm going to have to kind of check how the greens are rolling with that less spin and see if this is the right play. So will that roll up nicely to the pin? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Oh, I'd say that's the play. Oh man, that's great. We knocked it in with the bump and run that I was kind of second guessing the play on. Well, watch, this won't be even close. I just love the ability to come out here and work on low launch, high launch. All that stuff is great. Obviously that one wasn't as good. Oh man. Well, that's a good demonstration of chipping though. You know, it's a lot of different chipping options that you have, and you know that you can have confidence the Trackman IO is reading that, which is cool. And I'm going to do a bunch of different stuff, guys. This is obviously a very in-depth video with a lot of content. I'm trying to keep it, you know, to somewhat of a reasonable length, but I do want to show at least a couple putts really quick so you have an idea of how this thing is reading for you. So obviously selected putter. It's an 8-foot putt. Got my target down there. I don't really have to worry about how it's going to roll. I mean, I can check my turf just if I want it to roll nice and smooth, but it's going to measure it in a short distance, and that's what's nice. That's what I like to see. Nailed it. Nailed it the first time. Now, of course, you can adjust the stimp inside this software. So you guys are going to have to understand that, you know, depending on what the stimp is on your turf, you need to select it, you know, to make sure it's, I think I have it set to 11 right now, and that's where mine rolls. But what I want to show you guys is that if you're looking to play, you know, putt it out with your friends, you know, you don't want to have gimmies on, and you need to hit these little 3-foot putts. Check this out. No problem. No problem. Now let's see if I can almost like leave this short. I don't know if I can leave a 3-foot putt short, but we'll try. Just barely tapped it. Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty tough to actually leave a 3-foot putt short. Let me see if I can do it. It's not going to read it if I hit it that soft. So essentially, if you want, I mean, it's probably like a 2-foot putt, I would have to say. I mean, I barely touched the ball. So like right there, yeah, that's like a 2-foot putt. This is going to accomplish those indoor goals that everybody wants. I mean, you saw the chipping, you saw the putting, the shot shaping. Obviously, the impact video, I'm a huge fan of. So I really like to know what you guys think. Make sure you comment below. Questions, thoughts, anything along those lines, shoot me an email. I always put it in the description and pin it to the top of the comments. I'm happy to connect you, with my connections at Trackman and help you, basically guide you to make sure this thing is going to work in your space. But how exciting. Trackman IO, indoor optimized unit coming from these guys out of nowhere. I always know that manufacturers are working on things, but it was just so cool to see this thing come out. And I appreciate the opportunity from Trackman to get this couple day early, first look at this, to give you guys this video. Jakob for, doing the interview. All those guys are first class over there, and I'm going to give you guys a lot more coverage on this unit. So make sure you stay tuned. I'll have a lot more coming on the Trackman IO real soon.